Hey folks, this is Gene Arnold from Regular Guy Mountain Biking, and in this bike check, we're going to be checking out the Specialized Pitch. Hey folks, this is Gene from Regular Guy Mountain Biking, where we talk about all kinds of fun and cool things that have to do with mountain bikes, and of course, home of the Regular Guy Mountain Biking Bike Chat Show. Today, we're going to be checking out Ryan's Specialized Pitch. I think you said, Ryan, on the show notes, it's a 2009 Specialized Pitch. Is that right, my friend?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Well, I'm getting Ryan on the line from Florida, right? I got that right, too?
Yep.
Cool. And we're just going to hang out for a little while and talk about his Specialized Pitch. He gave me some pretty cool pictures, so I can tell that the guy likes to fly through the air with greatest of ease over here. So we got some fun we're going to be talking about. So first of all, 2009 Specialized Pitch.
Yep.
Before we get into all the stuff, I definitely want to ask what kind of rider you are, because the pictures show that you're definitely not the rails to trails kind of pack a picnic basket kind of guy. You're having some fun. So I definitely want to know what kind of rider you are, so we can kind of, let people know what this bike's like, dude.
I've been riding for a while, since in the late 80s. So, and then I grew up in Southern California. So I pretty much like anything that's fast going down, or pretty much everything from cross-country trails to when I go up to Tennessee, Georgia, California, back home. So I guess an all-mountain type rider.
Gotcha. So just the love of the sport, pretty much. Any kind of trails. You just like to be out there, and definitely, was it live life loud?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I think it's a great tagline. I'm still waiting for the shirt, dude.
Yeah, I had one, but it came out live life love.
I'll wait for version 2. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right, man. So tell us about the bike. How'd you come up with getting this Specialized bike? It's a 2009, as I mentioned, so a couple years old right now, and get an idea of why you got this bike and why you've been sticking with it so long.
For price. I got it in 2010, and it was on discount through Specialized. And I went to the bike shop, and I was like, "Hey, you guys got any deals?" And they're like, "Well, let's look it up online, see what we got, see if there's any closeouts." Mm-hmm. And there's an extra large Specialized Pitch Comp 2009, and I got it in 2010 February.
Gotcha.
So, and I dropped it by $500. So it was like a $2,100 bike, and I got it for like $1,650 out the door.
And now, I mean, I'm 5'8", so I'm kind of lucky. Medium, there's always a medium, Extra large, is that a little harder to find a bike your size?
Well, I usually ride a large,
okay.
But it was just I couldn't beat the price, and I was talking to the guys at the bike shop, and they said it's not going to be really that much difference.
Right.
And I find it's really stable. You can't huck it as much as I'd like, but it's a blast, and that's pretty much why I've kept it.
The pictures I've got, it obviously shows you're comfortable on it. I mean, you're still hucking it around a little bit here, dude. I mean, you're definitely having some fun with the bike. Now, as far as this particular bike, was it? It really was just it wasn't this bike you were looking for. You just, I mean, I'm gonna have to say you got lucky because you like it so much. You haven't gotten rid of it. I mean, it's 2009, so you certainly had enough years to basically say, okay. I mean, honestly, at that price, after a year or two, you almost got your money's worth. But you kept it.
For sure.
So, was it just you just what do you specifically like about this bike that's giving you a reason to keep it? I mean, I'm just kind of curious.
I like the Pike front shock. It's
okay.
All you gotta do is turn a dial, and I go from 140 down to 95, which is pretty awesome. It's adjustable front suspension.
Oh, okay. You can adjust it. And what you said, 140 to 95?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. But you but even with that, I mean, like you still, I'm looking at some of the pictures over here. You still do a bit of a riser bar, and I'm looking at the stem over there. You're like, it's like
that's I think I did that because I've been racing BMX, and I just like, I like being able to pull up in manual, and I just found that I actually got another bar on order. I got a 750 with a 2-inch rise.
Really?
And it just feels comfortable, and I got a bad back from being in the Army, so a better riser bar. And
Gotcha.
me and my family, we like paying stuff with cash.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I have to save up for my new bike, and
Gotcha.
having a 6-year-old daughter, it's kind of hard.
I hear you. Yeah, no, hey, you get your priorities straight. I mean, like, you know what? It's doing its job, right?
Yeah,
Having a good time, I mean, guess that's really all that matters.
I still have a 3x9 on it, so
Trust me, that was coming up in the conversation. You weren't going to get out of that, dude. I mean, that was definitely going to come up. I'm looking at that, a 3x9. See, that's kind of tough. A 3x9. That's hard to kind of upgrade. I mean, you have to upgrade the whole freaking thing. If it was a 10,
sure.
At least you'd have a little bit of room. That's how I had on my fat bike. My fat bike had a 9.
Yeah.
So luckily for me, it was just more of a cruiser. So I put I took the 3. Actually, it had a 2x on it. I took the 2x off and put a bash guard and a 28. So Wolf Tooth has a replacement for the granny gear, and then I was able to get as big a 9-speed cassette in the rear that I could get.
Yeah.
So that kind of offset it enough. So yeah, you're still running the 3x, but
if I was going to do a next thing, that would probably be it.
Yeah.
It'd be my upgrade. Mm-hmm. But at that point, it's almost, you spend another $500 and you get a $1,000 1x11 hardtail.
Right.
Which in Florida, that's all you really need.
Yeah, and not for nothing, dude. This is a good bike. I mean, the only tough part is it is an extra large, so it's kind of hard to leave it in the closet for when you have a friend that comes over. You have to have big friends. When you have a medium, you can generally kind of shoehorn almost anybody into that. But if it's an extra large, I'm not coming over and being able to borrow your bike. I mean, I'll have to put the little blocks on the pedals like for the kids when they try to. I would never be able to reach. One of the things I wanted to mention was just simply the strength of this bike. Because I mean, you're pushing it hard. You're riding it for a good number of years now, and
I'm a big dude.
And yeah, you're that's cool. You're a big guy, and it's holding up. So Specialized is a good name, and it's definitely doing a good job for you. But let's get into some upgrades over here, because I see some of these pictures are I think older than other ones because some of them have the dropper on it. So what have you done to this bike over these couple of years to keep it going for you?
All right, from the first part, I switched out my brakes and my drivetrain and went from, it came with a front derailleur SLX and a rear derailleur of a X7 SRAM. Okay. And I'm not a huge SRAM fan, so when I could, I changed it all to XT cranks, XT derailleurs.
I see that, yeah.
And then I went to XT clips, and I had, instead of XT brakes, I went with a Saint because they're a little bit more powerful. That was the first upgrade. And then changed out my bars with that ODI 700EX. And ODI has this really cool thing where you can get the ends and you can screw in. There's 2 different sizes, and you can adjust it by screwing in different.
I've seen that before. Yeah. I'm so glad that you have these so I can ask you about it. I've seen that so that you don't have to cut the bars. Yeah. You can adjust the width by basically screwing in these extenders. Question. I mean, actually, this is a really, really cool thing to talk about then. Look, like you said, you're a bigger guy. Okay. Yeah. So you'd be a great person to ask about the strength and the flex of these bars. Do you have the extenders in, and what do you feel? Do you feel it's kind of wild? No, pretty solid, huh?
No, not at all. And I hammer. I mean, I go off drops and I jump off my ramp in the backyard, and so I've never felt any flex or anything.
That's
through
good
those
to
bars.
Know. That speaks a lot for the ODI brand, because I was one of the reasons why I never went with that was because I was kind of wishy-washy, because you kind of figure, why doesn't everybody have that? I kind of wonder, because it's a great idea, right? I mean, you can you don't have to commit to a length, just adjust it. But
especially when you're, you say you want like 740s or 750s, and then you're going, for downhill, and then you're going to cross country, you want to shorten it up,
right.
Slide off your ODI lock-on grips, take out the screws, and then you get back down to a 700 or 720.
So when you're going down something tight, and you have, because I know, man, I got nailed a couple times on my fat bike because I haven't trimmed the trip. I mean, you clip,
Yeah.
but I don't want to cut them. I'm not sure if I want to or not. And then like once you do, you're like, so
Yeah.
all right, so you upgraded that. Now, the dropper. Let's talk.
Yeah.
I've never talked to anyone that had the dropper with the actual dropper where it looks like you're kind of getting, happy with yourself over there, grabbing it right over there. But I mean, there's only so much handlebar space because you've got the derailleurs on both sides. So is that why you went with that one?
No, I went for price.
Okay. All right. Okay.
It was at Jensen's USA. It was $89.
All right.
So it's like,
yeah. Okay.
For taking one hand off and being able to drop it, and it drops literally just as quick as a remote, and it rises just as quick as a remote.
Mm-hmm.
And all you gotta do is it's kind of finicky because I tried it last weekend for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and I just had the seat post a little bit too high, and so when I hit it up, and it just comes right up, and it only takes half a second to lift, and then I had to adjust it, but other than that, it's awesome.
Yeah, because I could definitely see how going down wouldn't be a problem. I mean, because you're sitting on it, but I was curious how it would be going up because you're trying to offset the weight of your body off of it, and you kind of got to have, but you have a system. It's not a problem for you, huh? Cool.
Nah.
And like you said, you did save some money on it, and it's debatable how much money you want to invest in this bike, only because of some of the technology. I mean, I'm sure these are 26-inch wheels, right?
Yep.
So at some point, you kind of have to say, look,
with tubes, not tubeless.
Wow, yeah. So you're keeping the budget tight on this thing, but you're still riding it. I mean, it's working out fine.
I try to ride 3 times a week, so I'm, and that's my main bike. I got other bikes, but that's my main baby right there.
Well, it's nice. I mean, the Saint brakes, I could see why you'd want to pick that up. Trying to take a look at the rotors. What do you got for rotors? Do you know what you have for those?
It came with the what were the Juicies. I had a 203 on it, but I dropped it to a 180 and 160.
180 in front. 180 front. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's all you need, really?
Yeah.
Well,
I probably could go bigger and it'd probably help, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I've been riding for so long. I can. Mm-hmm. I can adjust myself and just, I know what to do, what not to do, and I'm pretty quick out the clips to put down my foot on a turn or something like that by coming in too fast. So that's just from BMX racing too.
Would you consider trying flats on this bike?
Oh, I wish I could, but I had those clips on for so long that it's actually welded one side by itself. So the only way I can get it off is to put a heat, and I don't want to mess up those cranks. I'm afraid that if I put heat to those cranks, that might mess up that crank arm.
Yeah, I mean, you can try some PB Blaster if you want, just for the hell of it, to see if that breaks it free. But if not, then I don't blame you. Even with a big pedal wrench, you still can't.
I used a 12-inch pipe with a wrench, and I was cranking on it, and guys at the bike shop were standing on it, and nothing.
Wow. Well, all right. Well, then you know what? I wouldn't mess with it. First of all, I don't even want to talk anymore about it because I don't want to jinx anything about that for you because
for sure.
that's bad voo-voo, so I'm not saying nothing. But the reason why I ask is because I'm talking to more and more people moving to flats. I'm just curious. So basically, you're open to the idea, but it's just, because of circumstance, it's like, what are you going to do? That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I run flats on my dirt jumper and I run flats on my 4300 hardtail.
Gotcha.
Truck. So
you've got a couple other bikes, but this is your main go-to bike.
Yeah, my wife calls me a bike hoarder. I probably have just for me to ride, I probably have at least 6 bikes. And then I have other bikes for the family when they come over. So I got like 3 20-inch BMX bikes. I got a couple 24-inch cruise BMX bikes. I got my dirt jumper, a cup, 3 hardtails.
You got the sickness. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But you know
But
what? Once you get into it, you start wanting a purpose bike for different things. You know, I mean, like
yeah,
when you get into it a little bit more, I've got my fat bike for that type of riding. You know,
yeah, for sure.
it's and for over the winter, I had a lot of fun with it. And my Remedy's doing it. You start getting into like bikes for specific things, but you would call this your more all-around bike. Even though you have those other bikes, you'd still turn to this one for most of your riding.
Yeah, in fact, I'm actually thinking about taking it and leaving it at my parents' house in Southern California. And the next time I drive out there, and then after I think the next bike I'm going to get is going to be either the Specialized Fuse Comp,
Okay.
plus size hardtail.
Oh, hardtail. Okay.
And it comes with the dropper post. I mean, and it's a slack head angle, so that'd be good for my back, and it has a short chainstay, so it's good for hucking.
Right.
And not that I huck hugely, but I mean, I like to have fun.
Right.
And,
Definitely.
Either that, or I've looked at the Santa Cruz Chameleon. I think it's coming back as a plus size.
That's such a nice bike. I know. I wanna. Yeah.
The Trek Stash 29er plus size hardtail with the elevated chainstay in the rear looks pretty awesome too. So those are the 3 bikes I'm looking at.
As far as upgrades, is that pretty much where you left it so far?
I got a WTB saddle. I just put that. That's pretty much. I like WTB just for the width and the length of it. I usually run like a 150 width. I like the wider saddle. Just from old school back in the day where you used to hang off the back and squeeze the saddle with your inner legs when you're going downhill back in the late 80s, early 90s. And I just like the little bit wider saddle for myself.
I think Bruce goes with the WTB saddle as well. I know he didn't like the one that came with his Bronson. He got a switch, but I think he still went with another WTB. So I don't remember the exact model, but yeah, he ended up. WTB makes good seats. They're definitely really good with that. So now, what would you upgrade on this bike, or are you kind of like you're done because you don't want to invest too much more in this bike? What like mentally, where are you at with this bike?
The only thing I would probably do would be, because everybody talks about rotational weight, would be try to get a set of aluminum tubeless ready rims. Okay. I wouldn't go carbon because that would just be silly.
Not worth the money, no.
And but if not that, maybe front fork that's a little bit more up to date, because I'm still pushing, oil through one side, and it's just I think I'd rather go with a coil front, like a 140, 150.
So you're gonna be tough because the problem is this frame doesn't have a tapered head tube. So honestly, technology is you're not going to find. Okay, I'm sure you can find something, but
oh yeah, for sure. But honestly, like I said, I like to pay with everything with cash. So just because we don't like to owe and have debt,
I'll blame you.
So I'd probably, that Specialized Fuse is like $1,550. So no, that's probably what I would do. I wouldn't upgrade this. I'd actually probably do what I say, take out to Southern California where it's more in its environment, we'll say, being this is full suspension. And I live like, you open up my front door at my parents' house and you see the mountains right there. So I can be in the mountains in like 20 minutes.
Awesome. Yeah. And then just have it decked out just for that.
Yeah. And then when I wouldn't have to worry about, running or trying to find a bike, I would have my bike already out there.
Yeah.
And then I would just get a slack that hardtail for Florida.
And I mean, personally, I wouldn't invest the money in the fork, but the wheels, since they are 26-inch, you might be able to get some decent. Like if you kept your eyes out for something like that, you might be able to get some good deal on a set of wheels, even if they're a little used. Who cares? Because
Sunringle usually has some pretty good deals. Sunringle?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
They usually have some pretty good deals.
Yeah, so that might be a way to go, just to because you could probably get something pretty inexpensive and still get a good quality on it.
Yeah.
Is there anything you don't like about this bike? I mean, you've had it for a long time. Has it done anything? I mean, like leaving out the fact that some of the technology is old, that's not really the bike's fault. You've had it for a long time, but the bike itself.
The only thing I really dislike is the long top tube. And that's just because, like I said, I went with it because of price. I can't beat the price. It's a couple inches too long, but on long rides, you can definitely feel it.
Stretched out a little bit too much for you. Yeah.
That's the other reason why I'm going to get the riser bars. And I'll probably drop down to, because I'm running like a 90 stem, so I'll probably drop down to a 50 stem to bring it in a little bit closer.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. And, I mean, it's still a good bike. I mean, it's just because it's a 2009 doesn't mean it's still a good bike. So, that being said, who would you recommend this bike for? Because you could probably find. Well, look, yours is here. You might sell yours. I mean, like you could find these online used. So, what kind of rider do you think would do well with a bike like this if they wanted to pick one up?
I think a person that is. I would definitely get. I'd definitely buy this again if I could.
Okay.
And I'd just get it in the large size. And I would say the type of person this bike is good for is probably the person that's out of his limit, or he's grown out of his bike and he's looking for something to get into budget wise, because you gotta find it, on Craigslist or, somewhere like that. And want to step into the full suspension, but doesn't want to drop, now a good full suspension, you're going to look at spending $2,000, where you can probably pick one of these up for $900.
Yeah.
Or less.
And you still give it a thumbs up. So, I mean, for $900 or less, you're still getting a good quality full suspension bike. It's just older technology. But, for a lot of us, we just buy them because we want to get the latest and greatest. But technically, like the bike I have, my Remedy, it's one of those things where, is the bike really better than the rider? Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. The bike, the kind of rider that could really excel on my bike is much better than I am. So I'm the weaker link in the technology. So a bike like this, someone could jump on that, and it's still a very good bike for somebody, and they'd have a lot of fun with it.
That's for sure. I mean, I still have my very first mountain bike, a Trek 830 Antelope from 1989, fully rigid.
Ouch. Well, but you know what? I mean, some of them are sentimental. You keep them. It did its job,
yeah,
right?
It's sentimental, and it's just I use it just to, cruise around to the drugstore and back. Pushing the pedals.
Well, one of the things I want to do before I close this one up is, folks, I'm calling him Ryan because Ryan's his name, Ryan. But Ryan is a really big contributor to the Regular Guy Mountain Biking channel, and he goes by Only the Bold Project. So if you see any of his posts, he's always like pumping up the channel. He's always positive. He's just a real big support. Anytime I feel like I'm like working my butt off, why am I doing this? I'll read a post, and he's like, yeah. I'm like, it's nice to have those. Actually, all the subscribers are very positive. But I just want to, virtually pat you on the back when I can do it with anybody, because it's nice to have folks that are supporting it. And he has his tagline, "Live Life Loud," and I love it.
That's right.
And he's got a YouTube channel, and if you did a search, I'm going to give you a link anyway, but Only the Bold Project. That's how you can look him up and watch some of his videos. And you got some videos over there we can take a look at.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't got a lot. I just really started it this year. Started the new project, and the project being able to get out and ride with family and friends and stay motivated. And you'll hear me talk to you on the ride about that. And one of the biggest projects for me is to lose like 35 pounds. So that's my big thing. Well, I mean, I'm at 272 at the beginning of the year, and I'm down to 266. So
good, man.
It's coming. But
it takes time.
I like to eat.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? I mean, we all got our things, why not? Eating's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, folks, look, I want to thank Ryan for everything, for being on this bike check, for supporting the channel. So, folks, if you get a chance, please visit Ryan's channel. Again, Only the Bold Project. You'll have a link for it over there. this is pretty cool. It's nice to talk about these bikes all the time. They don't have to be the most current bike in the world. You can have a really good time learning about bikes and learning about how people are taking bikes that have been around for a while and keeping them going, which is another aspect to this that's really working pretty well. So if you want to keep up with these, there's a little button to subscribe. So definitely, plug that sucker, subscribe to the channel so that you can keep up with it. I'd really love to have you guys around. And rather than ending it my way, I'm going to let Ryan end this show. Go ahead, buddy. Come on. I want Ryan's tagline. Come on.
Live life loud and take it easy.
All right, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next bike check later on, everybody.
Later.